Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
How are you?
We're doing great.
Fabulous. Just loving this Louisiana humidity.
I know you're very brave for doing this outside. I couldn't do this. I'm in Florida. I could not be outside right now.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a fan directly behind the camera facing me right now.
I love it. You got to do what you got to do. Welcome in, chat. Welcome in, chat.
Hi,
So,
everyone.
yeah, hi everybody. Super excited for this one. We'll get into it in a couple. We'll give it maybe a minute. Let people come in. Thank you for the raid. Hello, Reworkers Passion, Thrift Works. Shout out to all the people. Welcome in. Beautiful. All right, people are breaking down the doors. We got about 400 in here.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah. Hey, chat, where this is always fun. Where are y'all joining from? Just maybe drop the state or the country to kind of see where we're at. Oh, I can't even keep up with it. That's so fast. Austin, Arkansas, Texas, Florida,
Let's go,
Virginia.
Texas.
Oh, we got Louisiana in the house.
Louisiana.
ATL, the UK. Shout out to our international friends. Texas, Michigan, Texas in the house, Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
So all of our states are represented. We got Megan dialing in from Louisiana, Chelsea from Dallas, Fort Worth, right?
Yes.
And myself from Gainesville, Florida. So um, it's nice that we could all be here together, even though we're far apart. Awesome. Okay, why don't we get started? I just do a quick kind of intro about this channel and about what we're here to do today. So for y'all who this is your first time joining, my name is Kenny, and I am a community manager here at Whatnot. Coming up on 3 years here pretty soon. So I've been here at Whatnot for quite a long time. In the big picture, how long Whatnot's been around, and it's been a lot of fun. I get to work with sellers, and part of our job is kind of our mandate on the community team is to build programs that help educate sellers to be as successful as possible on Whatnot and to create a sense of belonging. So like this human to human sort of interactions and programs, webinars, IRL events, etc. So I'm a little biased, but I think we have one of the coolest jobs here at Whatnot. It's just a lot of fun. And also we've got, 400 of you in the chat. So also really appreciate all of you coming through and hanging out with us. Today, we're going to be interviewing Lunar Liquidation, which is a women's contemporary seller here on the app. And who I have with me today are, I guess, the founders of Lunar Liquidation, and they're also business partners. So we've got Megan here, as we said, dialing in from Louisiana. And we've got Chelsea joining us from Dallas, Fort Worth. And we're going to talk about their story. I had a chance to speak with Chelsea and Megan a couple of weeks back, and I thought that they have a very interesting sort of origin story, and also just some really cool kind of like best practices through some of the challenges they had faced earlier, and learnings, and they're going to share all of that with you in the hopes that y'all can take something from their experience and apply it to your own journey as a Whatnot seller, and that it'll be helpful for you. I guess before we get into that, couple housekeeping things. Casey, if you can move the cursor off the screen. There it goes. Sweet. Thank you. We're using OBS, and I got my teammate Casey running all the ops, all the production on the back. Shout out Casey. Shout out to Kiyomi on the team. And then also, if you have any questions for Megan and or Chelsea as we go through sort of all the things that we're going to cover, please drop your question as it relates to their experience as Whatnot sellers. And we're going to be getting to some of those towards the end of the show. So again, if you have a question for either of my guests, just drop it in the chat, and we'll get to as many as we can towards the end. Okay, so ladies, welcome to the Whatnot Sellers account. Super excited to have you. And why don't we do just like super high level intros, like Megan, maybe just how long you've been selling on Whatnot, and then where you're from, or just maybe the most interesting thing that you recently purchased, just kind of to get going. So we can start with Megan, and then we can go to Chelsea.
Okay, so hi, I'm Megan. I'm not from Louisiana. I'm currently in Louisiana, but born in Alabama, graduated college in Georgia, cheered for the Atlanta Braves, kind of got into reselling, doing traditional listings while I was in nursing school just to make extra money because college is expensive. I my background is psychiatric nursing, and I had always done traditional listing. I grew up running the little cash register at our local yard sale. So I guess you could say I was always an entrepreneur. Moved to Louisiana a couple years ago, and I guess long story short, I discovered Whatnot and decided like live selling. I thought I could really get into that. I'm a people person. I was very lonely out here because I moved here, didn't have any friends, had no community, absolutely nobody other than my boyfriend who I love. But so I got into live selling just kind of out of being alone. And that's how I met Chelsea, if you just want it short and sweet. But Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana. So,
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. And Chelsea?
Yes. Hi, y'all. I'm Chelsea, and I was born and raised in Texas. And my background is I was actually a professional opera singer before I got into reselling. So all my education is in singing. I lived in Europe for a while, very blessed to travel all over the world performing for about a decade. And then I had my daughter, who is Poppy or Penelope, who many people know. And so whenever I had her, I obviously needed to take a pause from singing. Plus, it was at the same time that the pandemic hit. And so I got into reselling really as just a way to make money while I was waiting to get back to performing. The plan was always to go back to singing full time. And then after Penelope was about 2, I went back and performed, but typically when I do gigs, they're overseas and it requires me to be away from her for 1 to 2 weeks. And I tried it a couple times, and as many of y'all know, after you have children, your priorities change rapidly. And it was more important for me to be home with her than performing. And so I decided to just dig into reselling full time. And so I started my first business, Poppy and Cha Cha, was doing live selling on Instagram and other apps. And that's how I met Megan, through reselling.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I'm able to work from home, have my daughter be a part of the business. Also, you guys know if I stream on the weekends, she's in the show asking for snacks. And it's really just been an amazing journey. And just so y'all know, I am starting to perform a little bit, but just for more like private concerts and things like that, that only take me away for a couple days.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
So I have been lucky enough to meet your daughter during your shows. She's
Yep.
so adorable.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to Poppy. And a lot of people in the chat want you to hit a note for us, but I'm not going to put you on the spot like that.
Thank you.
But so I think it's super, like, one of the things about your story that really I found super interesting and like very unique was that you both became business partners on Whatnot before you ever met in real life. And I think that
Yes.
that's so cool because number one, it talks to like the spirit of community, right? Which is a huge part of the Whatnot experience. But also, like, it speaks to trust, and it speaks to going with your gut and all that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And so I guess, what made you all trust each other enough to go in on a Whatnot partnership business before ever meeting in real life?
and
Well,
before Chelsea starts, sorry, Chelsea.
No, go
Let us
ahead.
preface this with don't share your social security number with people you don't know.
Oh my God. All right. We won't get into
Yeah,
that.
I think we very well could be the exception to the rule, but I think people in the chat can also relate to this feeling. Leslie, I don't know if you're still in the room, but like I've done a podcast with Leslie, a reseller's passion, and I feel like I know her, right? So
Yeah.
like whenever you're interacting with sellers and even our chat in real time, you really do develop a relationship. And so, it's not like Megan and I met each other online and a week later we were all in. We had developed a friendship over a year for sure. And I knew that her, I would be in her shows and see her success as a business person. And, she would shop with me, I would shop with her. We followed each other on Instagram. So we really did develop a real organic friendship. And you can tell so much about a person from their live sales, from their social media.
Mhm.
And so it just felt correct. And I had reached a juncture in my solo business where I wanted to go to the next level, but wasn't I guess, brave enough to take that financial risk by myself. And so Megan and I were on the phone and we kind of I expressed that to her and she said the same thing. And we're like, let's do it. And y'all know Megan and I are loud and silly. And we really said it just like that. And then we paused and we thought, no, like, let's actually do it.
Yeah. And I think just to piggyback off of what Chelsea said, we are both very what you see is what you get. And we've always been that way. And I think that's obviously translated into lunar liquidation now. Our buyers who have now become friends, they know we're very transparent about everything. And our values aligned, the way we wanted to run a business aligned. So we talk everything through. So we've never had, people are always like, have you ever had an argument? We've never had any kind of argument or anything. For some reason it works. I feel like I've known Chelsea my entire life.
Same.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. And I think you mentioned a couple of things there that we can maybe even like double tap into. I think one of it, when you talked about, you guys aligned on values, and we could talk about that a little bit later, but you also mentioned that like what you see is what you get with us. And I think that that's so real when it comes to whatnot, right? Because like literally what you see, right? It's live commerce. And so I think maybe we could chat a little bit about the importance of actually being like as a whatnot seller, being authentically yourself. I think, some folks see a lot of, say, the more veteran or bigger sellers on the app, and they're like, okay, I have to be like them in order to succeed because they're successful. And I think that that's so not true in this particular platform. It's like where you can win is on your personality, right?
Yes.
Like on exactly who you are, and not on trying to be somebody that you're not. And so what's been, I know this is like kind of going on a tangent here, but I think it's important. I think we can talk about it because, if we have new sellers here that are tuning in and are looking for some kind of inspiration or something, what would you tell them in terms of like being yourself as a whatnot seller and why that's important?
Chelsea?
Megan, do you want to start or me?
Okay. I would
Yes.
say don't compare yourself to anybody else on the platform. Chelsea and I, we don't stream all day long. We don't necessarily go live every day. Yes, we want to do that, but we're so focused on work-life balance. And I think that comes across on screen because we are very honest. I've done a live show and then gone and show my rescue mule right after we sold clothes. Like we never compare ourselves to any other sellers. And we tell people everyone can be successful. Just go live, be yourself. Don't compare yourself to anyone else, whether it's a huge seller, just do what the best you can do. And it will show on screen and people will appreciate that. And I think that's been one of the reasons for such success for us, because Chelsea and I, we have opened ourselves up to our buyers who we now consider friends.
Yeah.
We talk about our personal lives. We talk about all my rescues, Poppy, work-life balance, all the things. And we are very transparent we might mess up. We might get an order wrong. We might be behind on shipping, but we're very honest with people. And I think real and raw is what people appreciate. So it works for us.
And I was going to add to it, I think it's so important, and Megan and I do this probably daily. It's so important to know what your vision is for your business and stick to that and recalibrate all the time. I mean, you have to recalibrate with whatever's happening in your life, with your inventory sourcing, with how the app is changing, with how the industry is changing. But that's something Megan and I always dug into, is scaling organically. So we knew we wanted to be a bigger page. We knew we wanted this to be our full-time income. But that doesn't mean that our first deal we went and invested $100,000. And so I think that can be the tricky thing, is you see where you want to get and you try to get there too quick. And so I think it's about taking really smart, small steps and growing organically. Also, I just feel like if you do too much too soon, you're going to be like a train running off the track. And so that's why I think Megan and I do have the ability to be bigger than we are, but we're really happy with where we are. And, we're happy with us being the two streamers, having a little bit of outside help. I don't even know if I'm on the question anymore, but
No, you're good. You're actually hitting on another question that I had for you all, which is kind of like kind of like, what does your
But
team look like? Are you going to scale it out and make it bigger?
yes,
But this is helpful. And I think like,
yeah,
if I'm hearing you all, if I'm hearing you, you're basically saying like, be yourself, everyone else is taken. And through being
yes.
yourself, you'll attract the right kind of audience, the right kind of buyers, the right kind of following. And it's also it's incredibly exhausting and tiring and hard to be somebody else. Like you can maybe
It's
fake it for one
impossible.
show,
Yeah.
but like eventually people are smart. They'll realize like this isn't who you really are. And it's kind of like, unfortunate because who you are is what makes you shine in this platform, and like y'all know, I go live with my nephew and we're just kind of silly
Yes.
too, and we're not very serious, and we have a good time, and people show up, I think, because they genuinely enjoy our banter, and like
Mhm.
that's what they come for, and they end up buying stuff too. All right, cool.
Yes.
Let's keep
And
ripping. We
Katie,
got a
if I
lot
can
of
add just one thing to that, because I want to
yes,
give a shout out to the people in the chat, because also who you are authentically is going to attract those type of people as well. And so like it's so much fun for us to be able to engage with a chat that we connect with. So if you're being yourself, you're going to attract like-minded people, and it's just
exactly.
more fun for everybody. Yeah.
Exactly. It's almost like your superpower, right? And so
Yeah.
like you are your own superpower, and like then you'll find the right folks, and it's just like this self-fulfilling prophecy. So again, what we talked about there, chat, if you're just tuning in, it's like the importance of as a whatnot seller of being yourself and not trying to emulate somebody else on the platform. Okay, let's talk about, I know, so again, in our past conversation, kind of running up to the show, I learned that Chelsea, you were an opera singer. Meghan, you were what was
Night
it?
nurse.
A night nurse, right? Yep.
A psychiatric nurse. And I actually still am. I still
Yep.
PRN, do a 12-hour shift. Actually, I'm doing one tomorrow.
That's
Just to
right.
keep my license active. So yeah.
Okay, amazing. So psychiatric nurse, opera singer, both incredible professions in their own right. Um, Chelsea, how did being an opera singer, would you say, like, did it have any kind of value when you kind of transitioned to being a whatnot seller? Like, is that some kind of like entertainment? I guess you know how to perform in a way. What did that help you at all when you came onto whatnot?
I have to believe yes, because I know a lot of new sellers or even seasoned sellers will talk about how they get nervous before their live streams. I think sometimes that's a lot of that fear blocks a lot of people from starting. And I don't get nervous because of my years of performing. And so I think that's been the biggest thing. Megan always teases me, like I literally will be like, oh, I've got a show in 15 minutes. I should get dressed, because I'm just so used to it. And yes, I do think live selling is somewhat performative. And when I say performative, I don't mean inauthentic, but yes, it's always us, but it is a heightened version. I mean, I'm not going to come on screen and be like, "Oh, I'm so tired right now." You got
Sure.
to have some energy for the people. And so, yes, I think definitely having a performance background helped a lot. And I don't even know if I told you this. I was a cruise director with Seabourn for a year, and absolutely being a cruise director prepared me, because I was on the mic hosting 14 hours a day on shifts on these cruise ships, and so it really transitioned really well for me.
So, but what would you tell? So that's awesome. But a lot of folks don't have a entertainment or front facing like background.
Yes.
And what we hear from a lot of new sellers is that like they do get super nervous to go live for the first time, or even like the first few times. It's like very very common. We were just talking
Yes.
before we went live here how we are all, even us here, just a little bit nervous
Mhm.
before doing this show right here today, because we care, because it's like
Yes.
exciting. It's like there's a passion here, and it's just like that's good nervous energy. And but like, what would you tell to the person who's listening or watching who's like, well, I never performed, like how am I
Right.
going to make it as a whatnot seller?
So I also used to coach voice lessons. So I would coach my students on overcoming nerves. And two pieces of advice. Actually, a professional comedian once told me, when he performs, he doesn't think of the audience. He just performs to the audience like he's talking to his family. So if you can break down that wall of feeling like, oh my gosh, there's all these people out there judging me and wanting me to fail. Nobody is thinking that. Yes, sometimes you get some silly trolls, but actually that kind of make me laugh. Like I find the humor in it. But people want you to succeed. And so you have to flip the script in your brain. Stop going to the negative and thinking, I'm going to mess up. Who cares if you mess up? I still
Right.
mess up in shows. I'll pin the wrong listing or my camera will fall. Like, we're human. This is not a prime time special that has to be perfect. You know what I mean? A
Yes.
lot of times it's actually those silly moments that are fun. And so stop leaning into the negative. Instead, think about like how I can succeed. Also, I think once you find, like right now, I am so unaware of how many people are watching and any of that thing. Whenever you
Mhm.
get in your live stream, you're going to kind of even forget that people are watching you, because in reality, you're in a room by yourself. So lean into the positive and know that people are there to support you, especially on Whatnot. It's such an incredible community. They want you to succeed.
And I think
Incredible. Yeah.
for me, when I started live shows, I was extremely nervous, and I don't really get nervous either. So I made it a point to, in advance, share the stream with all my friends, all my
Yep.
family, because if you have people in there talking to you and they know that you're new and they know you're learning, they are going to be welcoming, and you don't
Yeah.
have to necessarily. But I will say, share the stream with your friends and family so that when you go live, you do have a few people in there
Yep.
supporting you. You don't feel like you're by yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
So
really helps.
that's so helpful. Great advice. I mean, and it all kind of harkens back to our point that we said before, which is like be authentic. So like if you're being yourself, you will be less like if you're trying to be something that you're not, that's nerve-wracking, like
Yes.
definition. So it's just like you said, it's like show up, be yourself, nothing terrible is gonna happen. And like you said, and I love that, Megan, like invite, you could run a private show for your first show. You could,
Yeah.
and then just send that link to your friends and your family and say, hey guys, can you show up and just tell me like how my background looks? Is the mic, can y'all hear me? Okay, I'm gonna try to run an item. Like, did y'all see it? Did it work? Like you could totally use your own support network as your like Whatnot support network. And then when you feel ready, you go live and still invite those folks. So I think my first show, like, I don't even know if I sold anything at all, like, and it was just like my brother in there. And I think he, like out of out of pity, I think he bought some stuff, but like it wasn't like you got to start somewhere, and like my best advice is just do it, just hit that go live button, and like
Wow.
from there you will build. Um,
And your
oh,
background looks great, Kenny.
but it
Yeah,
wasn't always that. But it wasn't
Kenny, you're
always
doing
that
a
way.
great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's sometimes people come over to my house and they're like, dude, what's up with your office? Like, why is there so many collectibles? And I'm just like, it's a long story, man. Like, like I it's part of my job, but I also collect sneakers, and I don't know, it turned cool, but I also got a lot of help. Like a friend of mine that I work with, Craig, y'all know, a lot of Craig. He had like a lighting, like a kind of like a cool ambient lighting in the background. So I asked him, hey dude, what are you using? And he told me, and I bought it. The camera and the microphone. I went to our production marketing guru and I said, what do I buy? I don't know anything about this stuff. And he told me, and I bought it. And so like, lean on people to help you get there for sure. Okay, we've got a lot of questions, but I feel like I could talk to y'all about just this topic for an hour straight. I do want to touch, Megan, on your career as a psychiatric nurse. So if I ever have a nervous breakdown, I know where to come. I'll probably
got
DM you and be like, help.
And I will help.
Okay. I hope I never have to, but you never know. But also like, did your career, I mean, your career is caregiving, caretaking, empathy, right? Leading with
Yeah.
empathy. Like how did that help you in sort of like what you're doing now?
Well, shout out to all the healthcare workers in the chat.
Sure.
I've been a psych nurse for 13 years. And let's just say, to be a nurse or in healthcare in general, you have to be great at multitasking.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was definitely prepared for live shows, because I can do a million things at one time, whether it's put in meds, give shots, things we won't go into because I'm a psych nurse. But yeah, multitasking in general, I know that nursing prepared me for live shows with the multitasking aspect, because Chelsea can tell you, like, there's been times where you're doing so many things at once. You're starting flash sales, you're trying to reply to comments, your camera falls over, your ring light goes out. Like, there's just so many things. And I definitely, multitasking is my
Megan
my
is the
strength.
best at it. Like
Yeah.
it's unreal. We were running a stream once where I was the lead host. We were together and she was walking around, cleaning up, talking to the chat, running bids. And I was like, how is this woman doing all these things at once? And I'm just standing here.
That is
Yeah,
a gift.
Chelsea's been live. It was a couple days ago for one of the shows, and I had the extra device. I was running the show for her on the back end while I was doing dishes and laundry and vacuuming all at the same time. Like I'm just pretty good at
So
multitasking.
so
Yeah.
y'all, so everyone out there who's good at multitasking, that can transfer very well into selling online. And
Yes.
I can attest, it is helpful
Yeah.
indeed. Um, so you said you built your business, Lunar Liquidation, on values like transparency and authenticity, right? What does that look like in your day-to-day operations? How does that come to life?
So we first off we try to acquire inventory that's all beautiful, authentic, pristine condition. I would say 90 to 95% of what we sell is production new with tags. But sometimes we do get flawed pieces or samples, and so we are looking every piece over thoroughly, showing it to the chat, making sure again what they see is what they get. If we miss something and we get a return request, we're going to go above and beyond to make sure the customer is happy. We're not going to be one of these sellers that's like, well, you bought it and you should have seen it on the live, So for us, it's not about the bottom dollar. It's about the community, everyone being happy with what they get. That's as far as inventory goes. I don't know, Megan, if you
Yeah, and
have another point.
we just want people to feel beautiful. We're very big on size range and pieces that make everyone feel amazing and confident and beautiful. And follow us on Instagram at Lunar Liquidation. Shameless plug. Tag us so we can see all your photos.
Yes.
But Chelsea and I, even as far as day-to-day operations, Kenny is actually hilarious. If we are stressed at all, we will create poems or songs and we will voice memo each other behind the scenes all day long about just like I'm stressed over this. and,
It's a
but
good
we
stress
talk all
reliever.
day. We talk all day long. Voice memo all day long about this deal, this buy. Let's find this customer needs this. What time can you go live? What time can you go? Like we are constantly working. I know some people probably think when the cameras are off, the show stops, but we are working 24. Even if I sleep, if I wake up in the middle of the night, I will check messages, and it's probably unhealthy, but
Yeah, I mean, I would say the live streaming is 10% of the business.
yeah.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
And
about right.
networking. It's all about like putting yourself out there, networking, meeting the right people who will present certain brands to you and deals, and like going to the thrift stores, going to the Goodwills. We're constantly behind the scenes
Mhm.
trying to find deals. And we try to find things that are different that other people don't have. For instance, the boot
Yes.
show. Like we are always, and we ask the chat, what would you like to see? What brands do you want to see? Do you want swimwear? Would you like this? We did Anthropology candles, Anthro home and bedding, free people. Like we're just constantly trying to think outside the box and find things that not everyone on the app is running.
So I think that's a good segue into, you had a very successful boots show that you shared it with me, and that was something, you all trying something new, kind of like, so let's talk about that. Like, number one, what made you want to try something new, and then number two, why boots, and tell us how that went. What was that like for you guys?
Well, like Megan was saying, we really do want to bring creativity to the business. So, and like I said before, for us, it's not about the bottom dollar. It's also about bringing great products to the app and specifically to our Lunar crew, because that's who shops with us. And Megan and I are both Southerners. We're both country girls. And so we wear Western wear, we wear cowboy boots. There seemed to be a lot of blank space for that on the app. And so when the opportunity presented itself, we had to commit to these basically 1,000 boots. We believed in the product. We also know our buyers, and we thought, yeah, like let's try it. And
So
luckily
you
it
had to
worked.
go in, you had to test it with 1,000 boots. That's a big investment.
That was
Yeah.
the test. Yeah.
And I think another reason certain things work for Chelsea and I is because at the end of the day, we're like, if it fails, it fails.
Yeah.
We'll sell it some way, somehow. But we are risk takers. We get European brands and Istanbul Turkish brands. Like we are constantly trying to acquire new fun things.
Mhm.
And also Chelsea and I are very big into fashion. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll see what I mean. So we like to bring pieces to the platform that are different, that make you feel like you just walked off a runway. And so that's another chance we took. We didn't know this most recent brand, Julia Alert. Did I say it correctly? We didn't know how that was going to fly because it's very runway-esque, high fashion, and people love it. So it all goes back to being yourself, being authentic, thinking outside the box. Are we still in the question?
I think so. Yes. Yeah, because it's all about, we believed in the boots. We loved the boots.
Yeah.
I also think like
Right.
whatever we present to the customer, like, would I personally be willing to pay X amount of dollars for this product? And if it's absolutely, then you got to try it. I mean,
So don't,
you're
yeah.
not going to make waves by just copy and paste what everyone else is doing. So it goes
Yeah.
back to this, Meg and I, we're kind of funky dressers, and so staying true to like our fashion sense and the brands that we like. And again, for us, it's not about the bottom dollar. It's about what our company is and what we bring to the table. So even if the boots we ended up having to, sell them back at cost, well, at least we tried,
So this, yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's super interesting and it makes sense. And in summary, I would say it's like, don't follow the trend, follow what you genuinely love, right?
Follow
And
your heart.
don't follow the trend, follow your heart. There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good quote. Awesome. I love it. All right. So look, what advice would you give to, other sellers who are considering getting into a partnership with, another whatnot seller?
Meghan, I'm curious to see what you're going to say.
Uh-oh, it's going to get spicy.
No. I mean, I would say like, don't, I know it might seem like, oh, we jumped into it because we hadn't physically met in person, but Meghan and I really had spent time getting to know each other. I also think it's so important to make sure that your vision is the same. I think
Yes.
that's when it could maybe become challenging. And a business partnership is like a romantic relationship or a family, it is a
Mhm.
relationship. And so, even if you've never gone into business with someone, maybe you've had a romantic partner, or you have your parents, or you have your siblings, and you know how those dynamics can be. But I
Right.
think that's one place Meghan and I have always had the same vision, and every time we check in, the vision's the same, it remains the same, the goal's the same on every check mark. So that would be, if you're exploring a partnership, that would be my first suggestion, is sit down and be really clear. What is your why are you doing this? Why do you want to do this? At the end of the day, are you in it just for money? That's fine if it is, but you need to know that, because if one person's in it for money and one person's in it for community, you're going to hit a crossroad. You know what I mean? So that's just a vague example.
Yeah.
But being in alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like Chelsea said, sit down with each other, discuss the vision, discuss your goals. Like Chelsea and I, our visions have aligned from day one. Our goals are the same. If we do expand someday, like we will do that at the right time. We're both just I think if you sit down with someone and your visions don't align from the beginning and where you want to go, you should just nip it in the bud and not do it. Like we know what our
You have to
end goal
discuss
is.
your personal goals too, because when
yeah.
you own a business, that bleeds into your personal life.
Yeah. Chelsea and I don't go out and party. We don't
No time.
we're both going to be up at 5:30 in the morning prepping for show stuff. Like, so that's true, that it's very important. Do you want a business partner who's going to party until 2 a.m. and then you've got to do all the early morning Zoom calls? Like, it's just make sure you align in every way. Every way.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of nuggets of gold in there. Especially like, making sure you're aligned on the why. I think it's, even if you're not looking for a partnership, it's probably good to write that out for yourself. If you're just a solopreneur, or whatever you call that, like a one person business, why are you doing what you're doing? Like why do you, what's your motivation, and what does success look like for you? And like, these things are probably just good, like just to jot down on maybe even a post-it, and maybe keep it somewhere where you could see it. And so you're constantly reminded like why you're doing this thing. I think oftentimes, e-commerce is like I want to make money. And it's like, great. We all do.
Yes,
There's
of
not a
course.
whatnot. There's not a whatnot seller who's not trying to make money, but also many are trying to build community. Many are trying to do partnerships. Many are trying to scale a business and hire people, and so that they can provide for other. Like there's a lot of things way beyond the financial, like way beyond the money, and it's
Yes.
more. And I think that stuff ends up being the meaningful part of the business, like the part that really kind of like motivates you to keep crushing, right? And
Yes.
um, so appreciate that. All right, let's talk about your live strategy. Okay, let's pivot here. And how often do you all stream, and has that changed over time?
So we don't have like a set, we stream X amount of hours. At one point, we did set like a weekly streaming goal. But this also goes back to Megan and I really being conscious about work-life balance. And so we kind of set like a week before we set the schedule based off of what we can do. So for instance, I have Poppy, my daughter, who's now in kindergarten. So I stream in the morning when she's at school because that just makes sense. Megan's incredible and she lets me set my schedule first and then she fills in the gaps. Megan, let me be clear though, has about 20 rescue animals and her workload is way more than mine. It's just animals can be left alone and a 5-year-old cannot. So, so we work around our personal schedules and we like to be live every day. So we would alternate every other day. Sometimes like Megan's going out of town after this. So she's not going to be live for a few days. I'm not going to burn myself out trying to go live every day. So I'll do what I can. But then if we take a day off, we take a day off. And I've actually found that sometimes if you're burnout at the host, as the host, it's going to read through the camera.
Mhm.
And so there'll be days that I'll wake up and I'm like, Megan, I'm
Yeah,
not show ready necessarily in a bad mood, but
yeah.
maybe I'm tired and I'm just not as sparkly. And I would rather double down the next day than just dial it in for the sake of dialing it in.
So important. So
Yeah.
let's touch on that a little bit more. A lot of folks, a lot of sellers, especially newer sellers, the question that maybe I get the most, and I get a lot of questions, is when's the best time to go live, right?
Mm,
And people are looking for like a silver bullet answer, like
yeah.
it's 8 p.m. on Friday. It's like there is no such thing. And
No.
generally, my default answer, and I would love to hear your both of your thoughts on this, if you agree with it or not. It's like go live when you feel like going live, like
Yes.
when you have like the mental wherewithal, or like the, like you said, the sparkle, the energy, the cleared schedule. The kids aren't, like, where's my food? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
go live when you can go live, and like allocate that energy to being live. And I think that that's the best time to go live. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Yes. And I think that a lot of sellers put this pressure on themselves to, if they have a show scheduled, they have to go live, which, yes, for us, we are, if we have a show, we're 99% going to go live. But like Chelsea said, if you're not show ready, don't go live. Just move it. People will understand. Nobody's sitting there like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, I'm not going to be able to make it through the day if Megan and Chelsea aren't live.
It
But the
almost builds up
time,
more anticipation.
yes, it's like, where are they?
It's like canceling a date and rescheduling, you know?
But as far as the times and days, we get asked that, obviously not as much as you, Kenny, but for us, like it just
Mhm.
depends. It
Yeah.
really, we don't have one day where we're like Mondays at 6 a.m. are the greatest.
Yep.
It
Yep.
really does vary. And there are even times where Chelsea will be live or I'll be live and we'll be like, oh, I'm just not feeling it today. Like the chat's not as talkative. And then we shut it down. We'll say, okay, we'll be back tomorrow. I
Yeah.
think some people want to stay on, stay on, stay on. Just
Yeah.
know when to, what do you know when to do, Chelsea? Know
You got to
when to,
know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
That's great
I
life
think there's a
advice right
country
there.
song about that.
It is.
I'm
It's
going to
it's
share one little thing
yes.
that's kind of an inside tip, pro tip.
Let's hear it.
I do find that the last couple days of the month and the first, so around like the 28th to the 3rd of the month, I'm talking like August 1st, tends to be a little slower because the bulk of people's bills are due at that time. So it's not a hard and steady rule,
Mhm.
but if you're feeling like I need to take a little break, I feel less guilty if it's at the beginning of the month because I'm like, it might be a little slower
Yeah.
right now anyway.
Yeah.
Again, that's not scientifically researched.
No,
It's just a pattern I've noticed.
For sure. And there are a lot, there are a lot of patterns that you can really dial into. Like, when are people going to be on the app the most? Well, it's probably when most folks are at the same time that they're watching TV, because they're not working. So it's like evening hours, weekends, like there are those types of like anecdotal theories, but ultimately, and I think in the final analysis, like, go live when you're in the right headspace.
Yes, when you're show ready. That's
well,
what
I do weekday mornings when a lot of people are working, and
exactly.
we have great success then.
We have sellers who like go live literally at 4 a.m. Like, that's their time, which is like, to everyone it sounds crazy, but like, there are people that come and they're like always there, and they buy and like there's and this kind of goes to one of the other topics that I wanted to touch on with you all. It's that like, there's room for everybody on this app, right?
100%.
And I wanted to touch upon that because you guys, y'all do a lot for the community. Like, you believe in building community, you believe in helping other sellers. Like, you're generally just like very open, and also you're building a very profitable business. And so like, that's interesting, right? Because sometimes it's not that way in other types of businesses. You try to keep your cars close, and you're this, and it's like secrets and this and that. But when I spoke to you, you guys mentioned to me that you think that Whatnot is big enough and going to be so big that there's room for everybody. It's all inclusive. And you're not so worried. It's like almost like this. There's a quote that I love that another seller said to me, which is community over competition. What are your all thoughts on that?
I mean, I think like an easy analogy is the mall. Do you guys remember the mall? So people don't go to the mall to
Vaguely.
What's the mall?
To just go to one store. They go to the mall to hit up 10 to 15 stores, and they're going to buy something from Foot Locker and something from Macy's and something from Sephora. It's the same. You show up on the app, you pop into Lunar Show and you grab something from us. You pop into Fashion Happen Show and you grab something from them, So, well, shout out
then
to
you grab a plant or a snack in the next show.
You can buy you can buy everything on Whatnot. You actually have a much better selection on Whatnot than you do at the mall.
Right.
And same thing with TV. Like, who pays for all this 7 different subscriptions? Hulu, Netflix, Apple TV. Like, I have them all because people need variety. People want variety. And I don't think like someone else succeeding does not take away from my success at all. On the contrary, whenever you support another business, they're going to support you, but do not support another business wanting that gift back when the support and the genuine want for abundance for everyone is there. It just naturally flows and comes back to you.
Like,
I truly believe that.
We'll have people constantly come in the show. Can I promote my show? Can I promote?
Yes.
We're always, promote your shows. We will even talk about, like Chelsea said, Fashion Happens. One of our friends, Kara.
Yeah.
We will even promote.
It's the first handle that came to mind.
Oh yeah, we'll cross promote and say like, hey, we don't have this for Love and Lemons piece you have, but our friend Kara will have it, or Holly Elux will have it. We're all about, we'll be live and they'll be live, and we'll even tell people go back and forth between the shows. We might not have this size, but they will have this size. Like, there's no reason to just not support.
I think that it's so interesting because I think that's the sentiment amongst the vast majority of Whatnot sellers. It's like, they do see the value of community and the business value of community, right? Not just because it's like a fun, awesome way to be as a human being, but also it comes back around. Like, people will raid you, people will recommend you, like they'll shout you out when you pop into their show, like, hey, if you're not following Luda Liquidation, make sure they're here, they're the best, whatever. Like, that goes a long way. And so I feel also very, very strongly that, like, there's room for everyone. Rising tide lifts all ships, and like,
you've got a lot of great sayings.
I know. I just recycle other people's. I don't have any. I can't believe we've been talking already for 45 minutes. Honestly, I think we got through half the questions. Yeah. So it's been great. Really interesting to hear kind of both of your perspectives on things. And let's kind of turn to some of the questions we got from our chat. So chat, if you do have any questions for Meghan or Chelsea, you can drop them in the chat now. We'll try to get through as many as we can, but we're going to allocate about 10 minutes to this. Okay, first question from the chat comes from Just Dan 70. What is your advice on how to best cultivate not only new customers but encourage regular buyers?
Great question.
Yeah.
So Whatnot has the giveaway app, which giveaway feature, pardon me, which
Yep.
is a really great way to bring in new buyers that just maybe wouldn't come to your page. A tool that we've also been utilizing, which I truly believe in, and Whatnot provides the analytics to back it up,
Mhm.
is the promote tool.
Mhm.
So I know you might look at it, and if you're a starting business and you're already in the red, you're thinking, okay, I'm going into the show and I'm going to spend $50 to promote. It's marketing. So it's a
Right.
part of the business that has to go into it. And that promote tool is very cool because it will, and Kenny, you can probably actually, Kenny, will you explain the promote tool? Because you'll do it better than me.
I think you were doing great. I mean, what it is, chat, is like there's a lot of tools available to sellers, right? There's like you could create your own coupons, you could do Rewards Club, which is a loyalty program. You could offer free and reduced shipping, you can run giveaways, you could, I mean, the list goes on and on. And that's kind of what, it's so cool that we provide all these tools and then sellers can kind of use the tool that they want to use for their business. But I think you nailed it on the head, Chelsea. Like if you're going to have a business, you're going to have a marketing budget. Like
Yeah.
that's just business 101. And generally speaking, that's your biggest budget item, right? So like
Yeah.
in business, like marketing is usually like 30% of your overall budget. It's a lot. And on Whatnot, you could use some of that towards what Chelsea was saying is really great for them is promote tools. And promote tools is really just think of it as like ads, like
Yes.
sponsoring your show in the feed is what it is. There are two types. There's show promote and there's show boost. Show boost, kind of surges your impressions of your thumbnail, your show thumbnail for a period of 15 minutes. And then show promote, you decide the duration and for how much you want to spend, during that campaign. And it'll just, present your show thumbnail in a sponsored position. So again, what does it do in layman's terms? It just gives you more visibility. You're
Yes.
paying for visibility of your show. But what I love that you mentioned, Chelsea, is the analytics behind it. So it's like that has come so far. Shout out to the ads team. Like, I mean, like it tells you now not only like how many impressions you got, but it tells you like if a buyer was one of those people who clicked into your show and as a result of coming to your show became a buyer. Like it's super duper
It's
granular.
really cool.
Yeah. Even as they
Incredible.
purchase, as they buy from you,
Yes.
it'll pop up.
You
You can
know.
only see it. You'll know
Correct.
if
Like
it's
exactly for the seller view, not the audience, but like
yeah.
the seller sees like this purchase came from a promote tool visitor, and that's super powerful, right? And it also gives you at the end like what we call return on ad spend, which is really just a component. Like it's basically like, for every dollar you spent, how much did you get for on a return? And you get that like instantly after your show. There's no waiting. So right away how effective that was, like money spent. And so again, definitely try it. Look, is it for every seller? I don't know. I mean, it's worked for me, and it's worked for countless other sellers. I'm not saying you have to do it to be successful as a Whatnot seller, but it certainly can't hurt to try and to see kind of what is the impact that it has on your show. So
And we
that's
don't use it every time. We typically will use it if it's a new brand launch, like something really special. So I think if you are going to use the promote tool,
Mhm.
really be that show ready that we talked about and have great products available. Also, we use social media. Megan, I don't know if you want to touch on.
Follow us on Instagram at Lunar Liquidation.
No, but let's touch
No,
on that.
and
Yeah, that's first of all, follow them on Lunar Liquidation, both here and on Whatnot and on Instagram.
Yes.
But also, how do y'all promote your shows off of Whatnot? Like, how do you leverage social media to grow your Whatnot business?
So we love social. Oh, and before I say this, we do have a Q&A from our page on Sunday for the community. If you want to go bookmark it. I love all my shameless plugs. But social media for us, it really is important because we are constantly posting on our stories. This is what you're going to see today. This is what we have coming in.
Mhm.
We are always posting our show link in our stories. We have this brand on the way. Here's a direct link to the show tomorrow. Go get your pre-bids in. It's all about building the hype. And we don't only use social media. We also even, like I had shirts made and I had our QR code put on the back directly for Whatnot.
Yep.
I wear it to the airport. If I'm going to go to the airport,
yesterday.
oh yeah. If we're going to the post office, because anytime we go there, and I'm sure sellers in here, what are you doing with all those packages? And I'm like, scan the QR code. It'll show you what I do. But we're constantly trying to find new ways to promote ourselves. If you're not great at social media, think of something else. Put a sticker on your car window.
Yeah.
But the socials are really important with the hashtags, tag whatnot. We get reposted on whatnot. I watched YouTube videos to teach myself algorithms for different social stuff. But yeah, social media is big, especially to build the hype for new brands, new products, all the things.
I love it.
And then the tying back to how do you retain those customers, you got to give them a top-notch experience and customer service. So the sale doesn't end when the live stream stops. That's only you've made the sale. Now you need to package it well. You need to drop it off quickly. Really put care into it. Do not send out a
Yeah.
package that you would not want to receive. So it's not about making the sale, it's about making the second sale from that customer. That's how you build a business.
Phenomenal. I love it. Thank you for sharing both your thoughts on promote tools. And Chad, if you're interested in more, like learning more about promote tools, you can just go to help.whatnot.com, and in the search bar, just type promote tools, and you'll literally see articles about it, tutorials, walkthroughs, all that good stuff. And for what it's worth, Chad, if also like the idea of like promote tools kind of scares you, it's like, oh, I'm not that technical. Like it's so easy to do. Like the what do they call it? The guardrails that like are in place. Like it just walks you through the process, and it's like you can't mess it up.
So easy.
Yeah,
it's really easy and quick. And you
easy,
can even
quick.
do it mid-show.
You could also do it mid-show.
Yeah.
Exactly that. That's right. We have a couple more. Let's rapid fire these. And then we'll raid somebody. So Casey, Kiyomi, if y'all got somebody that we can raid, if you could drop it in the doc or in the chat, that would be awesome. Question comes from Sherry Pat. And maybe like one of you can answer like just one person per.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could run through and so whoever thinks they have the better answer can just chime in. So the beauty drop is asking, how do you guys work together with the distance?
Oh, we are constantly in communication. I speak to Meghan more than I speak to anybody else out there. So we are just constantly voice memoing, texting, and I trust Meghan's going to do what she needs to get done. Meghan trusts that I'm going to do what I need to get done. So we really don't feel a lot of strain in being in two locations because technology makes it so easy to be connected.
Love it. Awesome. Okay. Next question comes from Sherry Pat. How many shows did it take you all until you got traction? This is a great question.
Honestly, I think we were lucky. We got traction from the beginning because we did have a pretty solid we had a pretty solid source at the start that we were thankful we had Anthro candles, Anthro bedding. So that really helped from the start. I don't think that's necessarily the case for everyone. Also, Whatnot, we were tagging Whatnot on our IG. We were posting on socials.
And we had our own followings from our personal businesses before.
And we kind of funneled it into Lunar. So, and constantly promoted. We're launching for weeks.
I love it.
So,
okay. Fair enough. 3Gen XYZ is asking, how many times did y'all pivot your shows till you found out what format was best for you?
Oh, we're always pivoting. We're always calibrating. Like Meghan and I were just discussing a brand this morning. And because we're watching what our buyers like, what they want, we're paying attention to the sizes that are being bought. And so I don't think it's ever finished. I think you're always recalibrating. But I think we're pretty good at like noticing what's working and what's not working and pivoting immediately with what's not working.
Love it. CP Fines is asking, any recommendations on the best way to network? This is a great question. I'd love to hear maybe both your thoughts on this one.
Chelsea, me?
Well, I think if we're networking within the app, go to other people's shows. So if you stay in your little corner, no one's going to know who you are. Go in, and you don't have to buy. This doesn't have to cost money. And we don't expect people to be in our shows and you can only be here if you're shopping. No. So just, guys, this can take 10 minutes. You're like, you know what? I've got 10 minutes to kill. I'm going to go into all these shows. I'm just going to say hi. I'm going to support this seller. So people see your handle and you start recognizing the people in the show. But of course, most of my shopping I do on Whatnot. It's either out of Lunar Liquidations clothing or I shop from other sellers.
Yeah. I only shop on Whatnot. I don't even know who Jeff Bezos is anymore. Like you need Amazon when you have Whatnot. But
Love
yeah,
that.
as far as the networking, always think outside the box.
Yeah.
Your friends and family, I feel like there's so many people who don't even tell their friends and family what they're doing. And that's a strength for us. Like our friends and family share the link. My dad shares the link with everybody he works with, who share with their wives and their kids. And even the QR code thing. Like we're always thinking outside the box of how to network. I go to the local Rouse's in my QR code shirt to get new followers, like while I'm picking out a loaf of bread. You know, there's just constantly be thinking of how can I share our stream with one person? And then that person shares and shares and shares.
That's
And
really
also
great.
the showing up for other people in shows. And you don't have, like Chelsea said, you don't have to buy. Just people
And I
seeing your
think
handle.
also, yeah, and Chelsea also, like, not just in your own category, right? Like
Right.
like you could venture into other categories, maybe
Yeah.
even like arguably even make stronger connections because they will have no problem promoting you because you're not really selling what they're selling, you know?
Right.
So it's
Like
like,
I go to the plant shows and you can see how well it works for me.
oh boy, Megan, that's tough. What happened there?
I can't, I
Nothing.
forget to
That's why
water
it's
them.
gone.
I forget to water them. But it really is just about putting yourself out there, making connections. You don't necessarily have to buy, show up for people, share their
Yeah.
streams out, raid them. It doesn't matter if you have two people in the room, raid somebody. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
I love it. You all are amazing, truly amazing, so inspiring, and like you made me, like I want to go live now after this show. Um,
Woo!
which by the way, I do go live chat. My username is Silver Drip. I have a show coming up on the 30th, and you can come hang out and watch how I go live in my
We'll
style.
be there.
Oh,
I
we'll
would
be
love
there,
that. Yeah,
Kenny.
everybody's welcome. Silver Drip is the username. Um, the next question is for me, I think. Car Exchange 916. Will this be on YouTube? Wonderful question. Yes. We recently created a YouTube playlist within the main Whatnot YouTube account. And the playlist is called Whatnot Sellers, learn and grow, that sort of thing. And so we've been taking all of our recent shows and putting them there, only because they used to be available through past shows and they're no longer available. And we want to make sure that folks who can't tune in live or missed something have the ability to go back and check it out. Also, I think this is hugely valuable information for other sellers, and so we wanted to make it available just well past and beyond the app itself. So you can just find that if you go to YouTube, search Whatnot, check out the Whatnot account. What is it? Like, follow, subscribe, and then yeah, you could check out this show. This will be up there tomorrow, so you can see it there. The other thing I wanted to mention is a lot of folks been asking about like our like real world meetups for sellers, and so if you're a seller here in the chat and you are interested in hosting a seller or Whatnot seller meetup, feel free to send us. This is something that we're exploring as a team, and we be kind of doing a few of them here and there, and we're really trying to like understand what's the best way to do this. So if you have any ideas or if you're interested in hosting a Whatnot sellers meetup, send an email to community@whatnot.com. Again, that's community@whatnot.com. Just kind of tell us where you're from and what you have in mind, and we'll take it from there and see if it makes sense. But yeah, we're super excited to do more of those. In fact, we had one last week in San Francisco, and I was out there, and I think it was incredible. So got to meet a lot of sellers, folks networked. I mean, it was awesome. So
I think y'all should come here next, Kenny.
well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it looks like Megan, looks like you've got the right venue, so we might just pull up
Yeah.
to
Plenty
your
of
ranch or
parking.
whatever that estate is. All right, say less. Megan in Louisiana chat, you heard it here first.
That's right.
No, that is an awesome. I mean, honestly, that's a beautiful background, beautiful backyard. You got.
Yeah.
Any remark? We're gonna raid Leather Goods Handmade. It's a brand new seller. They have a lot of cool listings like kids journals, custom adult leather journals. And yeah, it just sounds like a vibe. So we're gonna raid into that. And so when we do get there, chat, all 300 or so of you, just you don't have to buy anything, obviously, but just show some love, support. You know how we pull up. And yeah, and then I just want to say thank you very, so grateful, Megan and Chelsea, to having gotten to know you, I say, over the past few months, and get to work with you here and there. I think you guys are, super inspiring, so kind of you to share, your thoughts, kind of like an open book. I really do appreciate that kind of mentality. Chat, can we please blow it up for Meghan and Chelsea at Lunar Liquidation?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kenny, and thanks Whatnot. But
Yes, and thank y'all for being here and spending your time with us. Like it just, that's incredible. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you all. And if you don't follow Lunar Liquidation, make sure you do that as well. Check out their shows. They're super entertaining. You might get lucky enough to meet Poppy, who's like the star of the show.
Yes.
And again, thank you, Chelsea, Meghan. Thank you so much for being willing to come on.
Thank you for asking us, truly.
My pleasure. Really, really awesome. Let's raid this seller. Let's show them some love. What do y'all say?
Let's do
Leather
it.
goods handmade. Here we go, chat.
Bye.
Catch you next time.